Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, the headlines of music, and the movies we can't forget. I'm your host, Winston Burns. I'm not kind of Barcelona Morris. How's it going, man? How's your Thanksgiving?
It was good, man. Got a dub.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get a dub
Oh
today. So
yeah.
we'll
When it's a dub on Thanksgiving, it's always a good one. The
for
meal
sure.
tastes way better.
A little
A
better.
little
Just a
better.
little better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, definitely. Well, we have a lot of topics to get into for this one. Obviously, some NFL topics, college football, a couple NBA ones. In the second half, we're going to do some album reviews. To start off with San Francisco's blowout win versus Seattle, the 49ers won 31-13. And Christian McCaffrey rushed for 114 yards and two scores in the first half. This is also their third win in a row and 10th consecutive victory against a division opponent. And it's interesting because there was that 3-game losing streak San Francisco had. There was concerns, but when you really look at what this team has and the offensive talent, they're always going to be able to find a way to kind of get out of a slump, and they've been doing that recently. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is exceptional as ever. What were your thoughts about this game? Because I did expect it to be closer. It was the one game, like, I was even talking to some relatives about this. Like, it was the one game on a Thanksgiving. You're like, okay, like that'll be the interesting game. Like Dallas, that's the blowout. We all know like how
Right.
that's going to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
But there was some expectations it was going to be a good one. But what did you think about the game overall?
Well, I like the intensity that the 49ers brought. And I think that's, the energy comes from having Debo Samuel back, having one of their most prolific five-way player on offense. You could put him in the slot, XYZ, put him in the backfield. He even threw one time. So you could do so many things for him. So with that, the playbook opens up. We know that. That's obviously that's evident. But the intensity, the just overall atmosphere is different when you have one of your best talented guys back on the field. And then they weren't afraid of the Seahawks. We all know we got Devin Witherspoon from Pensacola. The defense looked better. They had a lot of draft picks. You had a lot of the defense look good. They're 6-4. They'll have to see them in 2 more weeks. So this is a good glimpse of how I thought it was still a good game. 31-13. Obviously, the 49ers had a great first half. And then Seahawks try to come back at the late half. But I think game 2 will be a bit different. Will be a lot different. Now, you haven't played this team. You've seen them. They've been in a losing streak. And now, okay, this is what we have to do to beat them, or this is
Adjustments,
what we have to do
all about
adjustments. Yeah, I think
adjustments.
the second game will be different. But man, I think that was the biggest thing. Debo Samuel's back. The atmosphere has changed. When they get Trent Williams back, it's going to be another change of atmosphere because he's the big gorilla. That man, Trent Williams, one of the best offensive linemen, hands down, that ever played. I think he's top five left tackle that ever played the game. The man is just a game changer as well. But I think that was a difference. They felt different, they looked different, and they took it to the Seahawks. And hey, sit it down. Sorry.
This is the
For all the
scary hours
dogs.
edition. This is the scary hours edition.
Sit
We
down.
we progressed a little
Sit.
bit. It's all
Man.
good. But and it's interesting because like outside of quarterbacks, like you just mentioned Debo Samuel's, there are those like instant game like changing type of players like Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
like we mentioned Debo Samuel, even Micah Parsons. Like who are those? Like who would you say outside of quarterback is the top like playmaker that you would say, man, like this guy is an instant game changer. Like if he's there, his team is gonna have like a major chance to win.
I mean, we could stay right here. Christian McCaffrey, 2
Yeah,
touchdowns, 122 yards. He's similar to Debo Samuel, but he's a true running back. So he's one. Debo Samuel's one. I think CD Lamb is
oh
definitely one.
yeah.
He takes the top off. He's a great route runner in that game. Yeah, it was so many things. There's a lot of guys. Michael Parsons is another one. Um, Defensive wise, well, let's see. Miles Garrett is another one, game changer
Yeah.
for the Browns defense. It's a lot of guys. Max Crosby, let's give him his praise, man. The Raiders look terrible this year, but he's a
He's going
dominant
off.
force in the running game, in the passing game. It's crazy to have that both dynamic consistently. I haven't seen this since J.J. Watt, because J.J. Watt and the run defense was amazing. J.J. Watt in the pass, the blocks. They got tired of him. He was just, all right, y'all gonna double team me. I'm just step back, block it down. So I haven't seen that since J.J. Watt in his prime. So Max Crosby is another guy. If he's healthy, if he's playing, and we've seen he can change the game, but their offense just has to get better. But he's been playing lights out. It's a lot of guys,
Oh yeah.
to be honest with you, outside of quarterback.
Absolutely. And now getting to Green Bay's win in Detroit, the Packers won 29-22, and Jordan Love had a career high with 3 touchdown passes. Also had a career long 37-yard run on a read option late in the fourth quarter to seal the win. And obviously, Detroit, they've had a really good season. Green Bay has had more struggles. What did you think about Jordan Love's performance? Because, the past few weeks, he's really been showing progressions, significant progression, and especially
Yeah.
in a game like this against a division rival. This was a really good sign for what can come up later.
I think the confidence he had, and then I think if you look at the whole scope of the game, the down and distance were really good. Field position was really good for the defense, and the special teams was really good. The game
Mhm.
defense played lights out. They had a bunch of pressures and sacks. So when you have that, and you're helping your defense helping the offense helping the defense, you're gonna have that confidence. Okay, and that one throw he threw to Reed, man, no other. You have to have some confidence to
Oh
throw
yes.
that throw and try to put that in there. And so I think a lot of things worked out for us to be able to win that game. One, we start pressuring Jared Goff that we didn't do the first couple of games.
Mhm.
Well, in the beginning of the season, the quarterback pressures was another one, and then special teams helping out, and then Love and our offensive line we're starting to figure it out. We got some guys back, so everything looked good. It was in our favor because everything worked well. And it's Thanksgiving. We're normally beating the snot out of Detroit Lions on
It's
Thanksgiving,
the norm.
anyways. Yeah, it's the norm. So we had to get one. We had to go 1-1 against them. But I
Mhm.
think when everything is working, that gives you the confidence. Okay, I can start doing some things. And obviously, he's a quarterback who can extend plays. He did that a lot this game too. So I mean, it was just our night, man. It was just our day. It was
Sure.
just for the Green Bay Packers, for all the Packers,
For all
man,
of
for all the cheese heads, man. You straight cheese me, dog.
Cheesy dog. Oh man.
Oh
And,
Jesus.
and now getting to the Eagles win in Kansas City. Philadelphia won 21-17 after a second half rally with a couple of touchdowns and go ahead score in the fourth quarter. The biggest miss for the Chiefs was obviously a Scantlin dropping the go ahead touchdown with 2 minutes left in the
Yeah.
fourth. Just man, right, literally in his hands, and it's one of those plays where I saw Mahomes in the post game talk about, man, I could have made some adjustments with that throw, and really try to. He was really trying to like look out for his team. He's never gonna say anything negative or throw anybody under the bus. I'm like Mahomes, like just like
It's a
take some credit.
perfect
It was a
ball.
perfect throw,
Perfect
man.
ball, bro.
Nothing you could have done differently. But in terms of this game, because there was a lot of like self-inflicted wounds for the Chiefs, like Travis Kelsey had that fumble,
Yeah.
and Mahomes had that interception earlier. What did you
Yeah.
think about this win for the Eagles, and was it more the Eagles that stood out to you, or the Chiefs' mistakes?
No, I mean, the mistakes, Eagles not playing a full game. And then one of the biggest takeaways from this game was the Chiefs defense was better than I thought they were.
I'm telling you, man.
And it was in the running game is where I'm talking about. We already know Chris Jones can, go after it. They have some guys that can rush the passer. The secondary, is bend don't break mentality in the secondary. They don't have any like real great cornerbacks or safeties or whatever. But that running game, because DeAndre Swift is the heart and soul. We always give credit to this Eagles offensive line.
Yeah,
Kelsey looked like he needed to retire. It was so many to block, and then they were having a conversation. He didn't want to switch. He didn't want to shift the offensive line to the left, because the center is it's like the field general for the offensive line. So if he feels like we shouldn't shift or we don't need to shift our blocking scheme or whatever, but they look out of sync in the running game. They look out of sync in the passing game, and I think it's because this Chiefs defense. I didn't think they were this good. So that was
yeah,
the biggest takeaway. The mistakes come. We've seen Patrick Mahomes make mistakes. We've seen Travis Kelsey fumble not countless times, but numerous times. So the mistakes is a part of the game. They still had an opportunity to win. And that drop by Valdez Scantley is one of the biggest follies I've seen for the Chiefs in a minute. Because that was a perfect ball. They called it the defense in the like it was just perfect.
so
All you had to
perfect.
do. This is game time. This is you wanted to be a number one receiver. They don't
Yeah,
have that. So that's why I had Philadelphia winning, because in the big moments, they don't have that number one receiver. They don't have a CD Lamb. They don't have a Stephon Diggs. They don't have these number one receiver who in those big moments is going to catch that and game over.
Yeah.
So it wasn't more so the mistakes. It's more so of Chiefs defense is better than I thought. This offensive line, for the first time this season, looked out of sorts. And then they still haven't played a complete game, but they're still winning ball games. It's just the Eagles just got it this year, man.
They
They
really
just
do.
figure out a way to
They find
win.
a way to win, and
They find a way to
that's the
win.
mantra, and they keep doing it. And if that keeps happening, it's just like even if they are not winning the games the way that we're used to seeing them win it last year, you have
Right.
to
Mm-hmm.
adjust. Seasons are different. You have to adjust, and they're
Yes.
finding different ways to win. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
No, for sure. And they look like they're going to win the Super Bowl.
That's what I wanted. I wanted to get the point. This really does look like the team that can honestly do it, man. Out of the other two games, Miami Jets and Dallas Washington. Like, what did you think about those? Because obviously those were games where we kind of expected the outcome to be a certain way. Like, has Dallas shown you anything differently, or is it just one of those things where they're just kind of beating inferior teams?
Dallas offense looked way better. They played a complete game. The
Yeah,
offense played a complete game. Running game was working with Pollard. CD Lamb was being CD Lamb, and then their defense played lights out. Another pick six for I think number 26, I think Jordan Lewis. So they played a complete game. Obviously, it's against the Washington Commodores.
awesome.
It's against them. But I don't think they're a bad team, though. I think they have a
Oh,
lot of
definitely not.
upside for Washington, but they're going to get to a point where they're going to start. It's going to start clicking eventually. But I think this is our third or fourth game where I've seen Dallas play a complete game. One was against the New York Giants, the first game of the season was lights out,
Yeah,
and then it was two
the
more
Jets
games I
as
can't
well.
off
The
the top of my
Jets,
head. Yeah.
they
Oh yeah, the Jets as well. The Jets as well was a complete game. That was the
yeah,
other one. It's one more outside of this one. So once they continue to play a complete game and they can play a complete game against a team like the 49ers, who has been their Achilles heel,
mhm,
then we'll take them more seriously. Even with that defense, Michael Parsons, Dexter Lawrence, like even all these guys they have, we
yeah,
don't still take them serious because they haven't played a complete game. And it's okay for some teams not to play a complete game, like the Eagles, because they have shown consistently that they can still win without playing a consistent or a complete game, if that
yeah.
makes sense. But and then I didn't really pay attention to the Dolphins and the Jets. Like I didn't. That wasn't
Good.
even. I watch hockey. I watched
Yeah.
hockey
Yeah.
yesterday.
Like Kirk Herbstreit now at Michaels. They're like, man, on Black Friday, this is really the game y'all give us.
Right, bro.
Like we could have
And
been
then
out.
I did catch the pick six at the half though. That's bananas. BANANA. That's bananas to be able to do that. And then it was like nobody was running after. Like they just like,
Exactly.
oh, he can't do that.
You
He
can't do
can't.
that. No, you
It's
can't. Wait,
halftime.
hold up.
Touchdown.
Nah.
Goofballs. That's what they were. Some goofballs.
They're like, no way, no way, no.
Yeah, got him an easy peasy touchdown.
Yeah. And after in college football with Washington's close win versus Oregon State, Washington won 22 to 20 and clinched their Pac-12 championship berth. Michael Penix Jr. threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for another. Roma Jones caught 7 passes for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. And this was one where Washington was really pushed to the brink, really
Yeah.
like stretching this game. How did you feel about this matchup for them and them, pulling off a late one?
Oregon State is no sleeper team, man.
Oh
We
no,
seen
yeah,
Oregon State, compete heavy this year, especially with DJ. And man, hats off to DJ for being able to transfer from Clemson, show that he was not the problem,
right,
and be able to lead a Oregon State team who was really not that good. And now they're 8-3, ranked number 11. Still have a chance. They're bowl eligible. Still have a chance to get a great bowl game. DJ. I never want to go for his last name. Ukulele.
ukulele.
That's what you know.
Don't hate us,
But
DJ.
hats
Don't
off,
hate us. Don't hate us, man.
yeah, hats off to DJ man to be able to do that. But Washington is really worrying me
Uh
because I
oh.
feel as though they're like USC, they're like all these Pac-12, like all these teams that don't have a defense. And once they get to these other squads, like Michigan,
Get exposed.
like Georgia, they're going to try to get in a shootout where they're not going to be able to win that shootout because their defense is going to stop them several times.
Yeah.
So I'm because this is my worry when Washington was in the playoffs. I think maybe like 18, 19,
Yeah.
and they squeaked
They
in,
got in and
and
they really
then
shouldn't have, but
and they
they got bought.
I think they played Clemson, and Clemson gave them a beat down, and that's why we got Alabama and Clemson for
Again.
back to back years. So when Deshaun Watson was there,
Yeah.
so that's my worry. Obviously, this offense is prolific. They do all the right things. They spread offense. They'll spread you out, run it. A lot of screens, a
And
lot of
that's what you
extending the
expect from
plays.
Pac-12 team. That's what you kind of expect from Pac-12 teams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you get to these ACC teams, even the Big 12 teams, SEC teams, they have a defense that comes with it.
Travels. Oh yeah, travels.
Yeah, what Dion said, I'm bringing my Louis. I'm bringing my defense. That's what SEC, ACC, and Big 12, they bring their defense too.
Mm-hmm.
So even if out of this Michigan and Ohio State game, both of those defense have played really well. So if Washington meets one of them,
Oh my goodness.
oh
Lights
baby,
out.
oh baby, oh baby. But obviously I knew it was going to be a close game because of that.
Yeah.
But the Washington offense is showing that they can in the big times come up because we've seen that against Oregon. Man,
Oh
we
yes.
see him
Bro.
come up in big moments. Penix Jr. We see him come up in big moments.
I want to
But
see that
defense is
rematch. I would love to see those
yeah,
teams play again.
that'll be dope. They're
Great.
gonna. Mm, oh man, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be a rematch. Well, it depends because Ohio State,
True.
Michigan, somebody got to get. I don't think
Yeah.
both of them get in the top four. So Oregon might slip
They
in.
might sneak in. Yeah.
They might, and we might get that
That
rematch.
rematch.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
It's high probability. High probability.
Definitely. And now getting to Clemson's upset win versus North Carolina. They won 31-20 and outgained North Carolina 467 yards to 457. They also went 6 of 19 on third down and won the turnover battle. And Clemson, obviously this has been a different year for them, not the same success they're used to. They have had some upset wins against Notre Dame and now North Carolina. What did you think about this game for them, and also what North Carolina didn't do to be able to avoid this upset?
I haven't been convinced with North Carolina, obviously, because they lost to a James Madison, I think. Not James Madison. It was some team from Virginia
They had
that
no
they
business
should have.
listening to.
Yeah. So after that game, obviously May is a. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. That's just me. He reminds me of what's the guy for the Giants now? Daniel Jones. That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah.
The type of quarterback he is. I wasn't convinced with Daniel Jones when they got him from Duke. I'm not convinced for May. Somebody said he's a top 5 quarterback. I just don't think he's an NFL quarterback. If he does get drafted, I think he sits for 1,000 years until he gets a shot. But that's just me, just coming from a semi scouting background. But I think that's what the difference. Clemson has been slept on because of their woes within the season, but Clemson is still a good team. For me, it wasn't really an upset because Clemson is finally understanding how to play Clemson football.
Yeah.
And he's a young guy, so it's going to take some time for him to figure that out. And then once that running game clicks and everything started clicking, I didn't see it as an upset. I
It's
thought,
really the record that makes it seem like an upset. When you look at this
yeah,
team, it's like Clemson is
it's still
still.
it's still Clemson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Clemson should have beat Florida State. Why call that play on 4th down? And then, bro, there's so many games Clemson should have won this year.
Yes.
Came down to the wire. So that's why I didn't feel as though it was an upset, because Clemson record should not be this crazy.
Yeah, at all.
It shouldn't. But I was never convinced about North Carolina. They have their up and downs on offense, and that defense is not really that good to me. They don't have a standout. That I think the best thing about North Carolina's defense is their secondary.
Very much so.
To me.
Yeah, very
To
much
me.
so.
The front seven really doesn't scare me, because you can run on them. You can spread
They're
them
vulnerable.
out.
They're
They're
vulnerable.
very vulnerable. I think they're secondary when it comes down to distance. Now, if it gets behind the sticks like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, and 3rd and 10, whatever, then the secondary can help the front seven out and cause a sack, because we call it a cover sack. If you don't know what that is, the cover's so good, the quarterback can't go nowhere. Sack. It's pretty self-explanatory for football. Football is one of the most simplistic sports you can play. But I think that was the high point. But yeah, I didn't feel as though it was an upset. Clemson is still a great team. I still believe in Dabo Swinney. I said that on the podcast like months ago. They're going to be fine next year. They're still going to get recruits. They're still, I think, top 15 of recruits. So they're fine. I didn't think it was an upset. Clemson is still Clemson. Come on. Clemson just needs some time. He's a young guy.
Y'all don't pay attention to Savon's corner. Y'all don't. I get
Hey,
it.
man.
I'm seeing it. I'm starting to see it. You've been saying this stuff, and they're not paying attention. They're not paying attention.
Wellington's publishing this. Savon's corner. He's my benefactor. Wellington's my benefactor.
And before we get to the NBA topics with most intriguing Week 13 game, I mean, the Michigan Ohio State. Come on now, that's the one we're waiting for. It's about to come on. Like, what do you? Because obviously these two teams both undefeated in conference play. With Michigan, them having that number one scoring defense and that factor there, what stands out to you in this matchup, and what's going to really be like the determining factor? It's a good one.
Defense is going to be the defense.
Yeah.
It's going to be a low-scoring game. It's probably going to be around 24-21, 21-17, like when Ohio State played Notre Dame and Michigan played Maryland and Indiana, like all these other teams. So I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be who makes the most mistakes, who has the ball last. I think that's the two main things, because Michigan really doesn't make mistakes, but I think with this high-powered game and this rivalry, there's going to be some jitters. It's going to be something. These kids are human, so there's going to be some mistakes. But who makes less mistakes, who less penalties, who doesn't shoot themselves in the foot, and who has the ball last? And we've seen that with Ohio State and Notre Dame. Ohio State got the ball last, took it down there, scored, game over. I think it's going to be a similar matchup to Notre Dame and Ohio State. So they're used to a dogfight. I think Michigan's going to win. It's either going to be 21-17 or 24-21. No overtime. This is going to be old school running the football. Defensive battle. They're not going to let Marvin Harrison Jr. take the top off or do shallow routes. Yeah, that's my mistake. They don't not let him take the top off, but I think he's going to shine in the shallow routes, screens and shallow routes. They're going to try to spread them out, get everybody spread, and then try to run the ball up the middle. It's a simple game plan. I think it's college purposes, but I do think Michigan wins because Michigan is going to win.
They're winning the championship
playoffs. Yeah,
they're. You heard it here first. I'm rolling. I believe it.
You heard it several times.
I was thinking like, man, can Georgia three-peat? But then Savon said Michigan. I was like, you know what?
I don't think Georgia's gonna. Yeah, Georgia makes too many mistakes.
You think Georgia's gonna get into the play like for the SEC championship?
Yeah. It's gonna be Michigan, Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, depending, because Michigan is number 3. Ohio State's number 1, so Georgia might go to number 1. Yeah, it'll be Georgia, Michigan. It depends on
because they played last year, right? Did they play last year or the year before?
No, Michigan lost to Ohio State.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember them playing recently in the last couple of. I think that was before last year.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe in a bowl game. Maybe in a bowl game.
Might have been, but it definitely wasn't a playoff. They didn't go.
No. And now getting to our first NBA topic with the Rockets' surprising start. They're currently 8-6, 7th in the West, and Fred VanVleet has been leading the charge with 18.2 points, 3-point assists, and 1.5 turnovers. Their defense is ranked 5th in the league, and this is such a major change from them for being bottom 4 in each of the past 3 years, and their defense has kind of been like rising and ascending. Like, I really feel like Ime Udoka is bringing that defensive mentality for the team, and they're all buying into it. What has stood out to you early with this Houston team, and kind of like some of the differences?
We gave them crap, didn't we? We did. For all the money they spent. I still think they spent too much money.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, but. I like their starting 5.
Yes.
Yeah, you got VanVleet at the point, which
is solid.
Jalen Green's upcoming guy. Dylan Brooks is playing better
Yeah.
offensively. I think obviously we know
And that's the
he's a
key. If he
he's
was
a
gonna flame out offensively, he wasn't gonna be much of a use.
yeah, exactly. So I think they saw something in him that he was able to do, and that's why they gave him the big contract. And I do think they were missing a defensive piece with the Houston Rockets for a time now. So I think they want to change that narrative that they weren't a good defensive team. But then you got some. I like the bench. They got a lot of veteran guys: Jeff Green, not Aaron Holiday, Victor Oladipo, which he still hasn't came because he's still nagging injuries. But I love the bench. I love what they're doing, but I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced. I think at the
This is an
tail end when
early
it,
because we have teams like
yeah,
early in the year who like go on a hot streak, but later on it doesn't. Because I know that this is an early season thing. Obviously, there are teams that are going to like really surprise you. OKC, Minnesota. I think those teams are going to stay good. I don't think those are like
yeah,
flukes. I think those teams are going to stay good. I think with Houston, it's more so hey they're improving, but they're still not going to be like one of those like consistent teams like in
right.
April, May.
Because they can't win on the road. They're 0
No,
5 right now.
got to
And
win on the
it's
road in the NBA.
yeah, that's and we I think we talked to I think it was OKC. OKC was winning on the road. That's when you know a team is in a good groove. Can we win outside our home arena? And that's what I look for. And when it comes to NBA, that's
Mhm.
what I look for. If a team is a well-oiled machine, they can win away. They can win in any environment, any country, any state,
Come
any
on,
city.
take it
That's what I
out.
look
Take it
for.
out
They
the
will stick it
map.
out. Right. 0-5. I ain't convinced, but I do think they're playing better basketball than I've seen in the past 3 to 4 years. I will give them that. I think their starting five is decent. I think once if Victor Oladipo, man, he's one of those guys I used to root for all the time, but it's just these injuries, bro. Victor Oladipo used to be that guy. If he can just shine just a little bit, just
Used to
ooze
drop
out a
R&B
little,
singles.
yeah.
Used to drop R&B.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I listened to
I
one of his
listened to Vic. I listened
EPs.
to it, Vic.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot all about that. Oh, Victor Oladipo, the
Vic.
singer. Singer.
And get into our next topic with Zach LaVine's trade rumors from the Bulls. This past Monday, Billy Donovan spoke on the aftermath of Saturday's game versus Miami when LaVine walked off the court while the rest of the team remained behind to celebrate. He had mentioned last week that he had been frustrated by the team's start to the season and dodged other questions about a trade. We knew this from game one when they had that players only meeting. We knew, hey, there's going to be some trouble in Chicago. It's going to be a rough, long season. And obviously, their star being at the center of it. What have you thought about his kind of his frustrations and obviously what he wants maybe going forward outside of this team?
I'll be frustrated too because the moves that they're making, obviously, you get DeMar DeRozan. Lonzo hasn't panned out.
Yeah,
DeMar DeRozan is on a steady decline. I think he still plays decent basketball, but he's still on a steady decline. Zach LaVine is still in his prime.
yeah.
So it's like he feels like at every other player, I'm wasting my
Don't waste my
prime
prime.
years.
Don't waste my.
Yeah.
That's one thing NBA players. Hey, do not waste my prime. Same thing
Do
with
not
LeBron in
waste my
Cleveland.
prime because Zach LaVine really has progressed
Oh
so
yes.
much. When he first came in the league, he was just a dunker. We knew him as a dunker, guy who has crazy vert. Now he's a guy who they can run plays through, guy who can create his own shot, finish at the rim. We already knew he could finish at the rim, and then he can facilitate and he can be a team leader. Those are all the characteristics you want in a star, and that's why he's a star player. So now I progressed to this point where I'm the star player and you guys are not giving me the
I
teammates
need.
or the supporting players that I need. I feel like LeBron, get me out of here or I'm going to get myself out of here. So I think that's what his frustration is. And obviously when they held a players only meeting first week, first game, that's how you knew it's some red flags there. But like you said, don't waste my prime
Literally.
years. Don't waste me being an NBA star because not everybody can hold that title for that long. So
Yeah.
now I'm an NBA star. Treat me as such. So I think if they do trade him, I think it'd be a great move because they'll get some supporting cast members. They might even get a gem within that trade. I don't know who they
Might
can
get
trade
Austin
for.
Reeves. Might get Austin Reeves. The Lakers always want some.
I don't want him there.
I don't want him there either.
I don't want Zach LaVine there.
With LeBron at 80, nah, I'm good.
He doesn't fit. He doesn't fit in there. He doesn't fit in. Bron doesn't want just. Bron don't want that. Bron want a support cast.
He doesn't want a guy who thinks like, oh, nah, I'm gonna be a star. Like Zach LaVine wants to be a star. Like he's like,
you gonna have to buy in, brother. Yeah.
And in your prime, you're going with LeBron. Bro. Don't do that.
I don't think the Lakers would do that to him.
No.
I don't think we're gonna bring a young guy in his prime who's a star and bring him with all these veterans, all these guys who bought into what we're trying to do. Nah,
it's gonna be frustrating. Why is LeBron getting all the attention? I hate this. And before we go to break, man, I'm gonna tell you, Kevin Durant has been on a tear. He's averaging 34, 35 points. The Suns have been on a 6-game winning streak. He's just really, that game winner, tough. I mean, KD is getting
Victor.
He is looking in that vintage form again. Like, what have been your thoughts on what he's been doing? Because obviously, with the injuries, at some point, at Charlotte, KD's going to be like, "Hey, I'm just going to take over. I'm going to do it myself." What have been your thoughts on what he's been doing? Also, Phoenix's winning streak.
He hasn't brushed his hair. That's what his ego. That's what his power. That's where his powers come from. He don't brush his hair. When he brushes his hair or get a haircut, when KD's hair look like what's the field? Looks like PHS football field or
Yo, I was not expecting that.
When his hair look like Roger Scott football field, that's when he on a terror. Look at OKC in it when he was a young guy. He used to take over. Hair.
This guy, man. Unpredictable one.
No, but on a serious note, I'm glad he doesn't. But no, I think that's the survival mode kicks in when all your like Bill is out, Booker hasn't been in and out. You don't have any other guy who can take over the games like you. So it's survival mode. Now I have to, but I think he lives for those moments. I think he wants it like that because now I can maneuver. I can do what I want to do for us to win. Like I can tell you to come pick, or I can run the offense and run it like I used to at OKC, like I used to. I think semi with the Brooklyn Nets. Even I think when he was with Golden State, he was able to run and do
that ISO mode.
Yeah, so that's what he lives at. I think that's where his confidence lies because that's what when he came into the league, even with the Supersonics, that's what he had to do. Yeah. Bro, he was with the Supersonics. It's crazy, bro.
That's so wild, man.
His hair been like that since the Supersonics.
I'm gonna look back after the podcast. I'm gonna look back at all the highlights of KD when his hair was brushed and when it was not. Hey, which one did he have a good lineup?
That boy don't have no personal barber. He don't got nobody.
We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.